I think my perspective on food has changed in that I understand that you don't have to cook everything to death in order to taste it all. I grew up thinking that when a leaf turned to mush, it was done. I spoke about collard greens earlier. You know, when you eat collard greens where I'm from, they are stewed, and they're stewed for a very long time, and they come out phenomenal. But they're usually seasoned with pork. Not that that's a bad thing. I'd eat it right now if it was in front of me, but I knew that I'd never really tasted a collard green. And then I finally bit into one raw and said, oh, that's a really dynamic flavor. So that kind of sparked it for me, and just understanding that, like I said, with beef, I'm not saying you have to eat it rare, but just not going too in depth with creating these crazy things with it. There are great things that you can do with food, but understanding and realizing that, you know, the food already has flavor. It's not my job to add flavor to it. It already has flavor. Is probably a big part of how I cook now. I know one farmer in particular, Jeff Rusk at Bar 3 Ranch. We took a visit out to his ranch, and it was really life-changing to understand, you know, what goes into the production of his product. I was vegetarian and vegan before I moved here. I cheated when I cheated, but I tried to eat vegetarian and vegan most of the time. Going out there and seeing how much passion he put into the grass that he fed the cattle changed my whole life. It was just enlightening to see that someone would really take into account the type of grass that the animal was eating. And I knew that you are what you eat, what your animal eats, or what everything else eats. So understanding that, no, there's not a weed in all 100 acres of this. There's not a weed out here. And I can point at each grass and tell you which one they are. And I can show you the marbling in each beef and tell you why it's there once it's done. And actually getting next to the cattle, you know, they're walking next to the truck and seeing that, and actually seeing a happiness, you know, in the animal, and knowing that the animal's been treated well makes it a lot more respectful when you consume that product. So I really have come into a holistic type of lifestyle, and understanding that someone preserves the integrity of the animal, it means so much to when you consume that. Another farmer, Farmer Pete with Isle Acre Farms, you know, he took us out, and, you know, we were able to pull carrots, which is my favorite thing in the world. We were able to pull carrots out of the ground, and as soon as the water touched them, they were neon purple and neon orange, and those colors were natural colors. And it was amazing to see them. And I said, you know, this is wild. I've never seen anything like this. You see rainbow carrots all the time, but most of the time you see them, they're orange. But this just straight out of the ground into that color, and then you take a bite of, you know, the sweetest, most flavorful thing you've ever had in your life. And it's just like, I can't believe I'm eating a carrot right now. I've always loved carrots. I ate a carrot every day when I grew up because I thought it'd affect my eyes, and I was gonna be, you know, that whole myth about having great vision. I have terrible vision right now. But obviously that part didn't work, but I've always loved carrots. And to get that at this stage of my life and have a new experience with something that I've loved since I was 2 years old is enlightening. And it has to do with food. So those trips to the farmers, having that relationship with them, letting them understand what you're gonna do with their product. I want them to taste it after I've cooked it. And for them to say, yeah, this still tastes like my carrot. You know, that means a lot to me. And to have that highlight, that's a big part of my career right now. And I just wanna make sure that food gets treated like food. And it looks that way when it comes back to the table, you know. I want my food to be thought of as comforting, as nurturing, as God intended, as full of flavor, full of passion, full of joy, and addictive. I want people to want to come back and have it again, because it is as it was intended to be. It is truly farm to table. And I love the concept, I love the vibe. It's really what I'm about.